Welcome back to your Agenda programme. Just after 10 a.m, Georgia Tolley here with you till 1. And today we are talking about the future of mobility here in the UAE. We've seen something of a flurry of announcements on the topic, and we love a theme. We love a theme on the agenda. First up, Beidou and Uber have announced that their driverless taxis will be bookable via the Uber app next month. That is in Jumeirah. I have been promised this for years. I have been doing interviews with Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority for probably 8 years. And they have been saying for 5 of those that in 2026 we will have driverless taxis. And to be fair to them, they have been true to their word. It is the first quarter of 26 and I will be able to order one via an Uber app. And it is, of course, all part of Dubai's push to make a quarter of trips, all trips, autonomous by 2030, which, of course, when they announced that, sounded like a long way off. Now it is in less than 4 years. We've also had another big announcement, which is that US robocar company Tensor has secured federal approval from the UAE government's regulations lab to begin testing their level 4 fully driverless personal vehicles across the Emirates. That is, in anyone's book, a significant regulatory milestone. But I did just say a lot of words, quite long words, in one sentence there. So we are going to dig into that in some detail. Let's find out more. I'm joined now by Amy Luca. She is the CMO of Tensor, which is that US company from California that is coming here to test their level 4 cars. Amy, we met at GITEX, I think it was. So lovely to have you back in the country and back in the studio. First of all, tell me, how significant is this federal approval from the UAE?
I mean, I think it's really significant for us and our pathway to commercialization, which is scheduled for the end of this year. And I think that, it's really exciting to be in a market that is so supportive of companies like ours and technology and moving, at the pace that the technology is moving, which is really fast at this point.
Okay. What does level 4 autonomy mean exactly? And in practical terms for drivers and for passengers? I'm going to ask you to move slightly closer to your microphone. Thank you.
There's so much confusion. And I think the industry, we've not done a great job at making it easy for people to understand. I think the easiest way for you to understand is that level 4 means fully autonomous. The car is in complete control. Anything below level 4, so 3 down to 1 or 0, means that there's some sort of driver involvement, so assisted driving. So I think that there's really only 2 levels. It's fully autonomous, driverless, and then all the levels below, which is assisted driving.
So no steering wheel?
In our car, we do not have a steering wheel in level 4 or pedals. So what makes us unique as a personal robocar is that we believe that our customers are going to want to drive or be driven. So when you're in level 4 mode, you have the luxury of space. There's no steering wheel. There are no pedals. However, because it's also your personal vehicle and you may want to drive, because our car is great to drive as well. It's drive-by-wire. It's air suspension. It's an electric vehicle, so it's a really good driving experience. And when you want to drive, then you can just switch it down to level 3 or below, and a steering wheel appears and the pedal appears, and you can drive away on your own.
Okay. So I'm desperate for this. I hate driving. Can't wait for it to happen. Boring, waste of time. I want to read the paper or read a book or sleep, frankly, when my car is driving along. But am I ready for that? Am I ready to put my trust in a vehicle to that level?
Yeah.
That must be one of the biggest hurdles for you guys. Like even someone who is dying the world, desperate for this, still has a feel.
I think that's it's true. I think we're based in California.
Yeah.
So we've had Waymo for quite some time in California. And if you watch the level of adoption of technology, there's this moment where the first time you ride in a Waymo, you obsessively sit and watch the steering wheel turn, and you're wondering, is the car going to do what it's supposed to do? The second time you stop, watching it as much, and by the third time you're on your phone doing other things, not really paying attention. So I do think the adoption curve is pretty quick for those who understand, the technology and have the experience. In which what's wonderful is, you mentioned at the beginning of the segment, that robo-taxis are starting to roll out here, and people will have that experience in a robotaxi likely first. And then we hope that that experience will be so wonderful that they're going to want to have a car of their own. And that's where we'll be able to provide that personal vehicle for people who want to drive or be driven.
So at the start of this interview, you mentioned that you're hoping to commercialize by the end of this year. Is that globally, or are you just commercializing
We're
here?
really excited to say that we're launching here first. So
Oh, wow.
UAE will be where the first robocars will be sold and driven. And so commercialization will happen here first with a fast follow in the United States, California, and then Europe shortly after. So we are definitely a global company, but UAE will get them first.
Yeah, I mean, to what extent then is the UAE really emerging as a global testbed for regulated, real-world autonomous mobility?
I mean, it's an amazing sandbox for us to play in because there's so much support from the different governmental entities. We've been just, really delighted by the support that we've gotten. And I think if you can just watch, I know you said you've been waiting for 8 years, but it's here now. It's definitely here now.
I mean, strictly speaking,
Yeah.
I've been interviewing the RTA for 8 years. Strictly speaking, I think they've been talking about for 5 years, they've been talking about autonomous taxis.
Yep.
No one's really talked about people having their own autonomous vehicles, this kind of level 4 concept. I hadn't even heard of it until we met at GITEX.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that, and obviously there's a higher level of engineering burden when it's a personal vehicle that's going to be sitting in someone's garage. The sensor suite has to be self-maintaining, self-cleaning. It doesn't get to go to a depot at night to go get checked, its sensors checked. It doesn't get to have that support. It has to be self-containing, self-supporting. So there's a little bit more of an engineering burden. Also, most level 4 cars, I'm not going to say all of them, depending on where you are in the world, they're either level 4 or not. So a Waymo, for instance, the robotaxis, they're level 4 vehicles that are not typically drivable in a manual way. And we had to be dual mode. So that dual mode, the steering wheel disappearing, the pedals disappearing and reappearing, was an important factor for personal cars. So, but we also believe as a company that people should have their own personal mobility. And that's a market that's huge. Of course, 80% of the cars on the market right now are personal vehicles. So it's really important that we were designing a car to service that market.
What is the tech behind this? Because that's what's going to reassure people. Like, how does it see? Is there an onboard computer? Are there sensors on the roads that it's talking to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, when you're talking about level 4 cars, there's differing philosophies. Our philosophy is first and foremost safety first. And that's why we have over 100 sensors, a very robust sensor suite that includes LiDAR, which we have 5 on the car, radar, cameras, smoke detectors, all these other sensors that are really built to make the car extremely safe. That sensor suite has to be powered by a rolling supercomputer. So we have 8 NVIDIA Thor chips in the car. All of the car is also an AI agentic vehicle. So that AGI or the LLM that's in the car is servicing the owner and the people in the car. And it's all self-contained because when you have a personal vehicle, unlike a robotaxi, you don't want your biometric data going out of the car, right? So it was really important as part of our ethos that when we say own your autonomy, which is what Tensor we say all the time, we mean own your data. We mean own your biometrics. And so, yeah, all the cameras in the car, all of the speakers listening to what you have to say, all of the information about where you go, that stays with the car and with the owner and is only released with permission of the owner.
Okay, and you're going to start testing it here in the UAE.
We have test cars going around right now.
You do right
We
now?
do, yes.
Can we see them? What do they look like?
They don't look like the actual body of Tensor.
I'm literally looking out the window now.
Looking
like
out the
a
window.
weirdo. I was like,
Yeah.
is it here?
Yeah. We our test vehicles are on the road here in Dubai and in the UAE. So we're doing early testing right now. You'll see the Tensor vehicle very soon, the actual body style that you've seen on the road soon. And yeah, we're really excited to start delivery and seeing owners in their cars by the end of the year.
And so when you say testing, is there still a human in the vehicle?
Yes,
but
there
they're
is.
just
Yes,
their hands
exactly.
off.
Yeah, it's assisted driving testing. Yeah.
And it must be quite difficult if you're planning to launch in the UAE, but then also the United States and Europe. There must be there's different road rules, there's different road personalities. I mean, I don't know if you've driven in the UAE, but we have a particular style of driving here.
I lived in Australia, so I'm an ambidextrous driver.
Yeah,
but
I know we're quite aggressive here.
Yes.
If you see a gap, you take a mile. No one indicates because that's a sign of weakness. Cutting in is a way of life.
Yes.
There's definitely a sort of personality to each country. Whereas I go back to the UK now, I'm embarrassed by my driving, because everyone's so polite and lets you in, and you take an inch and I take a mile. How do you teach the car that?
Well, I think the promise of, and the reason why I think the UAE is so forward thinking and having 25% of the cars on the road being autonomous is that following road rules and actually being a polite driver is really important for safety on the roadways.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that, we come and get a question is, oh, how fast does it go? And I said, it goes as fast as it needs to go, which is the speed limit, right? If you want to drive it and you want to break the rules, that's up to you. But, when the car's in L4 mode, I think it's really going to help with a lot of that traffic congestion because you won't have people stop starting, going fast, cutting people off, people having to slam on the brakes because the cars themselves will help pace. I think, there's data already for the United States and China that show that traffic conditions improve when you have level 4 cars on the road. And safety, of course, is paramount, and the safety factor is undeniable at this point.
Okay, so we know that by the end of the year, you want people to be able to buy them.
Yes.
Are there any sort of hurdles for you to jump over before then?
Yeah, of course. There's obviously additional regulatory approval that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Our testing phases, just in general, just getting the car road ready. We're going into production at the end of this year. So the cars, have to be made and shipped and all of those sorts of things. And we're in that kind of really amazing time period where the magic's actually starting to happen. I think people forget we're actually in stealth with this particular vehicle for 6 years. So it may seem really new to a lot of people, but for our company, this particular vehicle has been in the work for 6 years.
Final question, 30 seconds left. How much is it going to cost?
We're not disclosing the cost right now, but it will be.
Can you give me ballpark? Is it like Ferrari?
It'll be
or
high
Vauxhall
end.
Golf?
It'll be high end premium. I mean, if anybody, and you were at GITEX, anybody who
Yeah.
understands the technology that's in the car, it's a rolling supercomputer.
Yeah.
It's an agentic AI vehicle. It has over 100 sensors. It's luxurious. It has heated seats, cooling seats, massage seats.
Oh, wow.
We have
okay.
Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, like all these sorts of luxurious, items in the car.
Yeah.
So it'll be at that price point.
Okay. Sadly, out of my market at the moment while I have 2 children to educate. But, I can dream. And of course, the price will come down as it becomes more.
I mean, technology, as we know, with technology adoption, price comes down. So, we're excited to see it on the road and have our owners driving it.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Amy, thank you very
Thank you so
much for
much.
coming in to talk to us. Amy Luca is the CMO of Tensor, who are introducing, they've managed to get regulation for their level 4 fully driverless personal vehicles across the Emirates. So that's Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Thank you very much.